All right. What? Okay. Out of 100 Gen Z men, how many attend Catholic church or what is his church called? We got to stop saying that women are easily propagandized. You cannot run propaganda on people that don't have that desire. Women are not, I don't really think women are being tricked into anything. It's what we want to do. Because you can Google anything. You can Google conservative content if you want it. All right. Or Orthodox. That's it. Oh my gosh. I did not realize how rare Orthodox is because it's so common on the internet. Okay. So 22 out of 100 Gen Z men. Yeah, that's a minority. And it's like out of those 22, I mean, half are probably going to be ugly to women. Like women aren't going to want to marry him anyway. Okay, let me just keep going.
At this point,
go ahead.
You're imagining, your imagination is great. John Lennon would be great. You know, you would be proud of you at this particular point.
But I'm imagining all the people.
You're imagining all the people under a situation and a structure that you brought in here. All right. But the state highly governs this, and the state highly governs divorce. I'm dealing in a reality situation where I'm trying to counsel.
Yeah. And again, I kind of have to go with what I've seen. And some of the most horrific divorces I've seen were from so-called very religious, devout women. And I've just had every really religious, devout person on my show telling me their women are different. I've seen all their women throw it back. So that's the problem I get. I've seen all your women whore out. Yeah. Eve bit the apple. They've been tricked. Women fought for the vote. They've been tricked. Men always think women have been tricked. I know. Andrew's more worried about winning than living in reality. No, I think the deep down like feeling for a lot of those people is they just want a better future for their kids and they're kind of scared where society's heading. But yeah, let me
to give information to. The best thing you've told me is that you're willing to give men the option to do this. Are they willing to all do this option? The answer is probably not, just like they're not willing to do what I'm telling them to do. However, we're both attempting, which is a good thing. It's noble. However, your situation rarely exists. Can we talk about the...
I had a commentary. Imagine the kind of awesome sex a guy could have with a woman who's only doing it because a priest told her to. Jeepers, I'd rather take care of it myself. Oh, that's funny.
Reality of what exists?
Sure.
Absolutely. So let's take your moral religious crusade out of it and talk about the reality.
Yeah, let's
Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
See, you're not willing to do that because it's all based on your reality.
Guess what? It's a debate, and I will argue my points from my view, how I see fit. It's not for you to govern.
But what I'm not going to do is expect to be arguing from the land of make-believe.
Yeah, but it's
okay.
And the difference is Andrew's, it's coming from the Bible or studies. And in my opinion, CGA gets his information from like real life. Not to say like, I'm a little bit confused why Andrew thinks this. Because he has all the girls on whatever, you know what I mean? But do you know what? I had a similar, I kind of went through a similar evolution to Andrew, so I kind of get it because you kind of think the world is one way. They're saying CGA doesn't have any solutions, but Andrew does. Well, okay, and I'm going to tell you the equivalent of that. So if you're a business owner and you say, okay, guys, I need solutions. And you're like, okay, when you're a business owner, you might have a 5-year plan, but you really think of things in terms of 6 months. What we got to get, what do we have to get done this month, today? And if your solutions aren't things that you're really in control of, or you have the power to enforce, and from what I've seen, this like religious theocracy or whatever, I don't see in real life. It doesn't really mean anything. You know, I had a solution that women shouldn't vote, and I'll use myself as an example. That was one of my solutions, but who cares? It's like to me, it's a stupid solution because it's never going to happen. Women are never going to give up power.
All right. So
Okay,
anybody
my
have
turn. My turn.
anybody
Relax.
have the anybody have the sound effect for the
No, it's not that I don't like solutions. I don't like solutions that are not pragmatic. Like if you look at like Ryan Stone's work, Nuclear Caudillo, even Rollo, they're very detailed in their solutions. Like if your wife does this, say that. And even some of the PUAs, like they tell you how to increase attraction from your wife so she doesn't divorce you. And they're very detailed. And you only get that detailed by coaching people. Like that's really the only way to do it, because they're going to bring you questions on how to do it. That you're just never going to think of. Like sometimes I have women message me strategies, or I'll even tell my sister, and I tell them, get on Hinge. You know, these are the pictures you need. You need to pose this way, that, you know. And by the way, and I'm not a coach, so real coaches probably would have more detailed solutions, but you know, I could say, go to different bars at this hour or whatever, you know. Does that make sense? Like they're just talking from two completely different like points. No, I don't think Rollo's full of crap. I really don't. I think he's really smart. I just wish he liked me.
the television show where the train comes through, Mr. Rogers?
Let me know when
because I want to be on
let me
the,
know
I
when you
want to be
gas
on
out.
Earth.
You said, I liked Pearl's solution of having two houses in one. You can lock your wife out of half the house. CJ's solution is something most men don't want. Most men want to return to the 1950s. CGA can go be free agent lifestyle. CGA wrote a book of solutions. Yeah, men are having a hard time accepting the reality of women being whores. They're having a hard time.
Let me know
All
when
right,
you gas
Let's
out.
let Andrew respond.
Yeah, so the thing is it's funny that you bring up Imagine All the People with John Lennon, which is an anti-religious song. And hilariously enough, was designed to assist with female empowerment. Isn't that hilarious? But the thing here is you keep on saying that what I'm offering is make-believe, but it's not. It's been governing the Orthodox and Catholic Church for 2,000 years, including in this country. Now, here, let me give you an example, for instance, the Amish, right? Do you know what the divorce rate is among them? It's almost non-existent, yet they're still governed by the same laws of the land that you're speaking to. So sounds like if I give a counter, if I say, look.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It's not, social pressure is not pragmatic, because again, I have to look at what I've seen in the last 5 years. Social pressure hasn't worked because women are sluttier now than they were 5 years ago. Now it's, my sister goes to school with girls that are on OnlyFans. That didn't happen when I was in college. People are always going to be scared to do it because there's too many consequences for doing it. So to make any choices based on like that there might be social pressure that changes things, it's just not overly intelligent. Like I kind of have a wait and see attitude. If it happens, it happens, but I wouldn't really bet on it. And the way all of the trends are saying that things are going, it's not it's not a solution.
I can give you a way, a methodology in which you can utilize the religious ecclesiastical institution, which has existed for 2,000 years and has right now the lowest divorce rates. Right.
Social pressure works like spades. I don't. No, it doesn't. These women are going to stay hoes. I mean, do you know how many Muslim women do backdoor with people that are in town?
This second as we speak, not in make-believe land, not hundreds of years in the future, right this second, as opposed to the system you have of common law divorce, which is sky high and you can't do anything about it. That's what is true. So pointing out what is true is right now you can have a prenup. That is true. What is true is...
Hold on, let me pull up my video. Doug, can you send me timestamps of the relevant parts of my video? Men trick you into marrying modern women. I don't want to play the whole thing, but I think if there's a stat he brings up, I want to bring up me debunking it, because there's so many stats, they're hard to keep track of. But I know the challenge with prenups is, one, they can be thrown out. Two, most women won't even sign them. And there's a third thing.
Prenups are usually held up in court. That is true. What is true is that you can have...
No, the most prenups, Some prenups are held up in court, but the stats aren't really good on that because they're coming from law firms. So if you're a law firm selling prenups, why would you be honest if they suck? You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you make food, yeah, and they can get thrown out with the stroke of a pen.
Have a marriage outside of a state because it's a religious institution anyway. You never have to have a license with the state. It's never been necessary. And if you do, the only way that can be done is if it's sacramental. And if it's sacramental, it's governed now by the church. That's going to be the community the women are a part of. And so the thing is like, that sounds like a real viable solution. What's yours? More fucking degeneracy? Go out and play the field, hump a lot of chicks? How's that going to help?
Here's the frustrating thing. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story. So I found out I had a brother I didn't know about that my parents got pregnant with really young. And when I was growing up, they always said, wait till marriage, wait till marriage, wait till marriage. And I that was really difficult. That's a tough sell. I'm going to be honest. For me, I wasn't raised overly feminine. I didn't know much about men. I think it's kind of why I'm so interested in this stuff is because growing up, I really wasn't like taught any of this. So it's not a tough sell if you're raised as a super feminine, like woman. It's submissive. That's not how I was raised. So asking a guy to wait till marriage and also not bringing much to the table, that's a tough sell. And that's what I was trying to sell when I first got to school. And it was nobody was buying, I'll tell you what. And I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, why did you tell me to wait till marriage when what worked for you was getting pregnant immediately? I'm like, that's what worked. Now, I'm not saying like that it was good you did it, but a lot of times people have to be cutthroat to get what they want. And then they're cutthroat or they do the wrong thing. They end up getting the result that they want. And then they tell you not to do it. They like kick the ladder out from under them. And it's like, well, what did you do? And like, that's kind of, you never like, it's like a different kind of conversation, you know, like how soon did you and your wife sleep together? Do you know what I mean? Like, did you play the field? You know, and so it's almost like these guys, and that's what I told my mother. I'm like, you should have told me to just throw it back and let them finish inside of me, and they'll probably stick around if they're like a white upper middle class guy. I'm like that. I would probably be in a better position. I'm dead serious. I'm like, yeah. And I'm not saying that's moral, but I'm saying that's probably pretty pragmatic.
Anybody do anything. That's been the progressive mantra for 100 years. Isn't it wonderful? Your turn.
All right, we're returning back to Earth. Now, first things first, when it comes to this, back in reality, there's no God in marriage. So, Mr. Sky Daddy, God, religion, that's all great, but there's no God in marriage. At this particular point, when you go through a marriage, if one person decides to not obey the Holy Bible.
Well, you know, see, you say, nope, odds are you'd get knocked up by a chat. Well, what did my mom do? Now I gotta think about this. She went for the engineering department. I'm just saying, you get knocked up by an engineer. Now, I'm not saying to do that, right? Does that make sense? But I'm saying if we're going to go off of results, and people have a really hard time doing this, where what results did you get by doing that? Yeah.
Bible or whatever you're thumping, you have no basis to keep that marriage together. If she decides to leave the church and decides not to listen or excommunicate herself, she's now under the state.
Agree.
Now, when you're getting divorced, which I'm assuming you've been divorced.
Well, I mean, that's a hell of an assumption to make.
Have you been divorced?
Well, I mean,
have you been married?
Can you tell me, if you can tell me how that has any merit?
Give me a second, because if you've been through one, you would know.
Yeah, okay, because again, see, Andrew, it's a different type of argument. That's why they always talk past each other. Andrew's trying to like saying, let's stick to the facts. And he's saying, no, what happened for you? What worked for you? And it's a very different type of conversation. Pearl, your mom beat the odds. I don't think so. I'm going to be honest. I don't think so. I'm going to be honest. Most of the girls I knew that got pregnant young, and I have to go off of what I see, they're still with their dads. I see that as a way higher success rate than waiting till marriage in 2025. If women aren't raised to be wives and super feminine, it won't work. And I could tell you that because I've lived it. And I've been inside of these churches, man. I've been inside of them.
That there's no God in the divorce court, in the family court. There's no God in there. No one asked you.
There is the state in there.
There is the state. So that's what we're arguing from.
Yeah,
that's when you get married. So you're
No, feminism is a strategy that women use men's protector instinct against them. Everybody benefits from this. Anybody that married late benefits from it. So
telling me if, and I'm telling you, well, this is what's going to happen. Even if you took Sky Daddy into court with you, they would say you pray to the judge. The judge is the authority in the court. So the God argument is a nice, interesting argument. And I probably am not going to stay on the conversation very long because that's your God. That's your Sky Daddy. That's your religion. I have a different religion. So who gives you the...
Okay, so then again... God, you guys are just so unpragmatic. How do you make a woman be you cannot religious people tend to be really controlling. And you can't bring God into marriage. There's two people in it. You can't control another person. If she doesn't want to be religious, she won't be.
Listen, who gives you the authority to change the understanding, the conversation to your religion? That's your religion.
I'm not changing the conversation.
Okay, so it only works if it only works if you believe in your Sky Daddy. That's the only way it works, and that's the only way you're going to advise men.
We're talking about mitigating risk.
No. We're talking about, can men get into a marriage today only under your Sky Daddy? That's what we're assuming.
Okay.
Now, can they do it otherwise?
Yeah, you can have secular marriage.
Okay, go ahead and explain.
Okay, yeah,
Make it work.
I just did. So
make it work.
The argument that you have is that marriage is great. It's a great institution.
We already covered this.
Well,
nice straw man, Pearl. That's how I know you're a loser. I'm sorry. It's like, I say you can't control another person. You're straw manning me. Okay, get out of my chat. Get out of my chat. You find a God-fearing woman. Yeah, but there's no incentive for her to stay that way. And you can't control her if she changes her mind. And women change their mind all the time. Personal attacks. Oh, no. God couldn't bring Eve to religion in the Garden of Eden. Men are not learning from the Bible at all. I know.
Great.
We already covered
What
this.
made it great?
Can we go into why it would make it work for your secular? That's the question I ask you. You're asking me questions back. Go ahead and and answer the question.
So if you're talking about secular marriage, there's never been any point to it.
I'm sorry?
There's never been any point to secular marriage, ever. Never. What would ever be the point of secular marriage? It's always been a religious institution. That's what made it great. Now, when you say it's a great institution, what made it great for secularists, other than the fact that Sky Daddy and God had all these enforcement arms, and those things had to be enforced socially. Like, for instance, men weren't allowed to run away. And women, right, they had to show cause for these divorces. And they had to be good causes. They had to show it for things like infidelity, right? It was all biblically governed. It was all lawfully governed by this Sky Daddy guy you like so little. But that's what made the institution great in the first place. And what you're talking about here, you're making a point that divorce is bad. And yet, I agree, divorce is bad. So what we're really talking about is how do we mitigate the risk for divorce? And we have two different methods here.
Well, the conversation is marriage good for men. That's the conversation.
But it is. We already said it's good for men. That's not even in dispute.
And now, how do we make it better since they're avoiding it? Since men or women are avoiding it.
It sounds like the thing that you think makes it bad is divorce, not marriage.
Correct.
Then listen, we need to mitigate divorce.
We're 15 minutes in, and we are in the land of reality. You finally caught up. Can you tell me how we can get to the secular marriage? I mean, I've given you a chance. So you're dragging your feet.
So again, secular, there's never been any point to secular marriage ever.
Now listen, marriage is for child creation. It would be great for child community and all of these things. And now listen, by the time the religious aspects got into marriage, they were chopping people's heads off and burning Bibles. So listen, I know we want to take it back to the past and act like the past was better, but there's always a negative part.
I don't find talking about history the most useful. I understand why people do it, but again, I have to make decisions on the world I have today. So, saying women respond well to social shame and that's what you should bet on. It's like, but I look outside and women are starting